lost to the woman on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
How should we deal with that kind of thing?
This is really a serious problem because what you see daily, the images that you take in every day from the abstract world, at the end of the day, that may tend to become like a reality to you, of which it is not, because that which you see on social media, it is not all that you saw. You just saw but a part, but not the full content.
Right.
When you see someone on social media, I would want to use this example that before coming here, I had to package myself. But the package you see may not always be the case. So you should not sit at home looking at me, and then all that you want to be is like, be like me, if you do not know the full content. Here, I would want to say that we are to have some limits, all right?
Right.
So the limits are, look at what is good for you and take what is needed, and don't go into what is not needed. What can bring damage to your marriage, stay away from that. You look at someone, it's okay to have role models. It's okay to look at someone and then appreciate how you look like, appreciate how you are dressed, so that you can also amend the way you do things. But then there are limits to all things, that you should not go to the extreme of damaging yourself, like you said, because of what you see, of which you have not seen the full content. So that might be damaging to yourself and even to your marriage and the people around you. We were talking about parenting at the same time. It can be damaging to even the children, because when you lose yourself because you want to be like, it can be so dangerous. So I believe that every woman should have some limits to what you see. All right, this is so important. When you go to social media, you must have a purpose. What am I trying to get? What am I trying to do? And then get that which you want and limit yourself there. Otherwise, you may get yourself into trouble, serious damage.
I want us to get deeper into the limitations, the boundaries that you were talking about. Because you see, when I pick my phone, I could be on this phone like half a day without even noticing.
Yeah. That's
right?
Yeah.
So how do I cautiously get to a point where, okay, I'm doing this and I'm going with a purpose? Because you see, like you mentioned, purpose. Somebody can say, okay, I want to send somebody a message. That was the intention. Then I pick the phone, and then I realize that, oh, someone else has sent a message, so I'm replying that one. Then I've seen a nice picture and it's nice, and so then I get to forget what I really wanted to do. I want you to practically take us through how we can actually set boundaries when it comes to this.
All right. So before talking about that, I came across a research that portrayed that 66% of the people holding smartphones and then will spend 2.5 hours on social media daily.
Every day.
Yeah, every day. So for various reasons. And at times for unnecessary reasons. Now, getting back to setting boundaries, I believe that I am tempted to say that we are all at risk.
At risk or guilty? I am guilty as charged.
Because it is very easy. Like you said, I can pick up my phone. I just wanted to do something quick, and then I end up spending half of the day in that. I want to practically tell us that we should be intentional. We should be very intentional about we going on social media. One of the things that I did for myself was to tell myself that, okay, if at all I do not have any work to do on social media, I should not exceed 30 minutes on social media.
The entire day?
Yes.
Wow.
I should not exceed that unless I have an assignment. If I don't have any work to do, 30 minutes is enough, and you quit. And you must be intentional about that. Otherwise, I can tell you, you may not see yourself doing anything wrong. All right? Because you consciously tell yourself, I'm doing nothing wrong, so therefore it's okay. And by the time you realize, if you be honest with yourself, the picture you wanted to see, you might have spent 1 hour. Because from one picture to another, and Facebook, funny enough, when you are used to a particular type of maybe a video that you, okay, this is a video, the type of video you watch. By the time you realize, we keep flooding you with those kind of videos, and then you are tempted to like, okay, let me continue, let me watch this one, I will stop. Okay, let me watch the next one, and then after the next one, the next one. By the time you realize, you are wasting time on social media. We are supposed to be intentional about that. Tell ourselves that, okay, this is the minimum time I give to myself, because the truth is that it is part of us. Social media is now part of us, of which we cannot tell ourselves that, okay, I'm quitting social media completely. We can't do that. But at the same time, let's limit it. And also, from time to time, if we can do digital detox.
Oh, all right now.
Yeah.
Digital detox, like we're fasting our time on social media.
Yes. You tell yourself, okay, for this period of time, I'm not going on social media. Now, it may affect those who are working on social media. That is your work. If that is your work, tell yourself that, okay, from this hour to this hour, this is the time that I give. Because if you continue and it is 24/7, it would definitely affect your relationship. All right? So your intrapersonal relationship and interpersonal relationship. So for that, definitely, it would affect it negatively.
Right.
All right,
That's
so
right.
if you tell yourself that, okay, these are my working hours, from this time to this time, and then you know that you are focused on the work. But aside that, then give yourself some break and then stay away from that. It's very important because it has a negative impact on our mental health.
Tell us about it.
All right. I think last year I took a bit of time to do research on the impact of social media on our mental health. And I came across some interesting things. You see, day in, day out, I see images, I see videos, all right? And then the videos I see, the images I see stick to my mind. And most of them are not filtered, all right? So you end up having a mixed emotions. The euphoria of the whole thing. At the end of the day, you cannot even explain how you feel.
Wow.
So you sit down and then you are completely, all right, you don't know whether you are happy. You don't know whether you are sad. At the end of the day, you can begin to feel that, no, something is wrong. Anxiety will set in. And gradually, we are going into depression. You may not even notice it.
And that can affect even our relationship.
Exactly. If you're not doing good yourself, I don't see how you can let marriage work. Because you need to be good. You need to be okay yourself. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem. Marriage is going to be affected negatively.
What do you say about couples who hold their phones the entire time, and then you find them with their phones in the bedroom? In the bedroom.
At this point, we are guilty.
Right?
Yeah.
In the bedroom.
Yeah.
We're in bed and you're holding your phone. We're at dinner and you're holding your phone. We're on a date. So we are both seated and then like, oh, hi, oh, that's really nice. Oh, thank you. But we have divided attention.
Yeah.
I want you today to actually look straight into your camera and tell the people about how we can actually fix that, especially in the bedroom. Let's get in there. Let's get in there.
All right. This, I may say that we are all guilty. In a sense that perhaps work may bring you to get your phone. Let me check some few things on my phone whilst I'm about to sleep. But we understand that medically it's not even advisable that the last thing we see should be our phone before we sleep. It's not even advisable.
Excuse me, say what?
I said medically. Medically, it is not advisable. Yeah. That if the last thing we see is our phone, it affects our eyes. And I've been a victim of that. Yeah. That you get up in the morning because you have your eyes you've strained your eyes, and then at the end of the day, you get up and you can see the negative impact on your eyes. So I want to say that, yes, we are all guilty. of that. But that does not also give us room to continue to do that. Because at the end of the day, we would see negative consequences. So what I would advise is this. Let's all try our best. Let's limit. If you know you are sleeping 9 p.m., and then you finish eating and stuff like that, if you come to agreement, especially as a couple, if you agree that, okay, in the next 15 minutes, wrap up with whatever you want to do on social media, maybe because of your work or any other thing, you want to respond to messages, quickly do that and we put it aside.
And have time for ourselves.
Have time for yourselves. It's so important, so that you can, you can enjoy the little moment that you would have together, because sleep will set in very soon. So you can take advantage of that moment that you have. You pray together. It's so important. Yeah, discuss about the day, and then look at, you see how one is feeling about this or that, because at times whilst I'm focused on my phone, I may not see you, so I may not see how you respond to things. For instance, you are asking me a question. Maybe I'm not too happy, but because you are not seeing me, you are not looking at me into my eyes, you may not really see what I feel or how I feel about things. How was my day? Perhaps I said, okay, my day was cool. Yeah, that's the only answer I can give to you. But if you don't look at me, you may not see it. So it's good to put it aside and then to take enjoy the moment. It's so important, especially in marriage. It's so important. Like I said, we are guilty, but then we need to correct that. It is so important for us to correct this and then enjoy the moment. Build intimacy.
Yeah.
Quality time together. Discuss about important issues. It could be for yourselves, it could be for the children, it could be any other thing. It's very important. I want to plead with us that, yes, this is the era where that's the only device I have that is so close to me.
Yes.
But at the same time, we can try to do away with it. It won't kill us, all right? So it won't kill us. So I can put it, tell myself, we can practice it. Put it aside. What will it do to you? I know that mentally, it gives us a sound that, oh, something is missing. And I know that today, if your phone is missing, it looks like your whole life is missing.
Because we've become so addicted to it.
Exactly. So let's try to do away with it, because it will help us enjoy marriages. It will help us connect as a couple.
Well, how about you connect with us, okay? You can call us, you can tell us your experience with social media, how it's affected positively or negatively your relationships. Share with us, share experience, share an advice. Call us and let's see where that goes. One of the things I would really want us to, look at is whether you've had any practical sessions where social media has become a reason for maybe families breaking apart and all of that. But before that, is it good for a partner to go through his partner's phone, or somebody to go through his partner's phone?
Personally, I would see nothing wrong with it.
What?
I see nothing wrong with your partner going through your phone. Yeah.
Wow.
But at the same time, with my husband, we do not have such thing where I cannot go through his phone. But ask me, personally, I would not go through his phone, because I don't see the need of going through his phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that communicates that you trust?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There is this thing that is built between the two of us that, okay, if you want my phone to do something, please feel free. If you want to go through, you are free to do so. But at the same time, I don't see any need for me to keep on, because if the mindset is that you want to go through his phone to see what he or she is doing, there's going to be a problem. That you are saying that you don't trust. But
You don't
if there's
trust.
trust, there shouldn't be a...
Well, Area Mama is on the line. Good morning, Area Mama.
Good morning, Ella. How are you?
I'm a blessing, and I hope you are too. Please talk to us.
Okay, so I've listened to the topic, yes? And I'm thinking that because we are in this age, why don't you bring a younger people as well to express themselves? Then the counselor can counsel us in a way we are not going right. Because, I mean, we are in social media age where you don't see my grandmother handling relationship issues and on social media and all that. So I think that if you can broaden the conversation by bringing us to the studio, then we can express ourselves, and then they can tell us, okay, you are young. These things must not be done this way. Don't get carried away with the social media tag. And this is why you are getting things wrong. But bringing her in, then she's, coaching, and we are not being given the opportunity to express ourselves as well. And I don't think it's okay. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
But has social media helped you, or has it been a blessing or a curse to you?
Sometimes it comes as a blessing, but there are challenges. And before the blessings come, you through some challenges. Sometimes blessings first before the problem steps in. So this will help us will help me if I'm able to express it. Then she can educate me on how to go about it when I face some challenges.
Great, great. Area Bama, thank you for that suggestion. Another reason we open the phone lines is for you to express, is for you to contribute, so that you don't necessarily have to be in studio, but you're also contributing to it. And I really love your openness. Thank you so much. So Area Bama says that, to her, is that you have to go through the challenges before you even begin to reap the profits of the benefits of it, and she's feeling like, oh, why not? Let's have a young person in there to tell us all of that. But why not join the conversation, call in, express yourself. The counselor is here to listen to you. We're still using social media. Right. So you were talking about you not going through your partner's phone because you're open, you fully trust. Does that also mean that the opposite might be true in other relationships? Or maybe you just want to look at your partner's, why are you looking through my phone? Maybe he doesn't even necessarily have anything to hide, but the way he's going about it starts to raise eyebrows. Right. So what should we do in such a situation?
I would advise that people communicate a lot, especially when it has to...
I'm going to have to put a pause on that communication. Abigail? Good morning, Abigail.
Precious, you are looking very beautiful. And my in green, God bless you, counselor.
Thank you, man.
As for social media, last week I was saying that the phone has separated us from our husbands and wives. And it's very serious. And it helps, yes. There are at times when I'm down, when I go through, I see some counselors that I trust. And it has helped me somehow. Yes, but too much of everything too is bad. So we should learn to have time for ourselves too. Now, no communication in marriage. All the communication I'm doing in social media. You will be with your husband, wife on bed throughout the day. He will not talk to you. She will not talk to you on social media. And it hurts. As Carla is saying, you will be depressed. Yes, I am a victim of that. I need somebody to talk to, but I don't have. Yeah. And I'm not a phone type, a freak, like, no, you won't see me going through maybe my group prayer or something, then I will just quickly go there and move on. So it's really hurting us. God should help us.
Amen. Thank you so much, Abigail. So Abigail is saying that we can't really do anything about it, but God has to help us.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you were saying.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, why not?
I think that is when I was saying that we need to be intentional about it, all right? Because it is something that it is here to stay with us. Social media is here to stay with us. Now we need to be intentional about it, because if your partner should suffer because of your addiction to social media, then you are in danger, and your family also is in danger. So it's something that we should reconsider, and then let's sit down to talk and then see if at times you may not feel it, you may not even know it because you see nothing wrong with it. But ask ourselves, are you suffering? Because I am. connected. I'm more real on social media than I am in my family. So, yeah, when we ask ourselves these questions, it will help us to really know what is happening. Otherwise, what she's saying is that there are families that you, before you understand that, okay, something is going on, it is on social media that you would find out.
Oh my God, I don't want to be in such a family.
Oh yeah.
Let's pick our last caller, shall we? Godfred?
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you all?
Oh, we're great. We're great. Let's hear you.
Thank you.
Okay. I just tuned in my TV right now and then I saw that. I don't know much about it, but when I saw the topic under the screen, I decided to contribute. You know, anything that involves an institution or that involves people from different backgrounds. So where it is, you might get but something that I may not like within my community or within myself because you are coming from different places. Let me use kind of say food. You might prefer eating rice, and the way you eat the rice. Me personally, I was born, let's say, a silver spoon, and you rather like to take your hand to eat. So, of course, it can be an evil to me, or you use your just bare hand to eat rice. That's what I see in social media. So, whenever we come out, when we are in this state, social media is error. People are making money from that side. People are making good life from there because they met the right person and they were smart. They made the right person and then they were smart as well. So that's what I also say. Ask the counselor about this going to his husband. You see, certain things, because he's the kind of person that he's moving with, there's no need. One thing I've seen about relationships is that the moment you come out with certain thing like, oh, you assume, oh, there's something bad going on, Satan have come. So whatever, especially marriage, and the marriage is going on very well like that, and the moment you get that mentality, you are starting creating the problem for that. So I admire him saying that, yes, you will never think about that, and you will never even to his husband from all in the name to just to check things.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Godfred. So Godfred is saying that the moment you start to have thoughts, okay, then you've opened the door for the devil to come in, start to make you feel like, okay, you don't. But I mean, in the spirit of wrapping up, because we're pressed with time, I want you to give us a practical, something that's come to your table where social media has either been a blessing or a curse. Take us away.
Yes, let me give this example, this scenario of this couple. That social media has been a curse, all right? Because the woman especially got into social media and all her life is on social media and then no time for the family, no time for the children. And on top of all this, she was not ready to admit that there was imbalance, all right? The truth is that she needed to be on social media, but she needed to balance things right, of which she was not ready to admit that. And then that has really brought a terrible experience in the home. The man was not also okay with that, and the children also were being like, okay, because she was not having time. So 1, 2, 3, mommy this, okay, check, take your tablet and check on. So now social media has been, like Google has been the instructor, YouTube, whatever you want to find out as children, go to on YouTube and go and find out what you need to find out. Of course, it could happen, especially if the children are grown. But then as a mother, your input is also required. Give them instruction and guidelines as to how they are supposed to maybe do research, especially when they are very young. But this, unfortunately, it happened, and then the damages were there. We couldn't fix it. But at the same time, yeah, we saw also social media where it has helped because, yeah.
Oh my God, how I wish we had longer time for this. Because I mean, the parenting aspect of it
Exactly.
is it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
But thank you so much, Counselor Pastor Benedict Nikiema.
Yeah.
Nikiema, I'll always remember that.
Yes,
It's been great having you.
Thank you
We
so
pray that
much.
social media becomes more a blessing and less a curse. Put the phone away, enjoy your marriage. Let the Love Doctor series make an impact.
Exactly.
Right? All right. So this is where we end this session. And Koku's, oh no, we have the doctor happening. So after the Love Doctor series, we get into medical doctor series, right? Okay, we'll be back.
My gratitude, trust in His fear not. God, He has got us. I pray the summer days, and His love will always stay. To be kind in speech and action, to love boundlessly. Honor our God, show Him my gratitude. Trust in His fear not. God, He has got us. We'll learn to live in harmony with each passing day. We will be evergreen, flourishing exceedingly. Our love will be impactful and beautiful as heavenly. In eternity will be fulfilled for caring for each other's needs. We'll learn to live in harmony with each passing day. We will be evergreen, flourishing exceedingly. Our love will be impactful and beautiful as heavenly. In eternity will be fulfilled for caring for each other's needs. You are to me a gift. You are.
Okay, welcome back. Are you ready for some medical conversation? I am. Because today we're going to delve into the issue of back pain. Some people have had back pain not knowing the source of it, how to treat it, and then we do all kinds of maybe even the wrong exercises to aggravate it. And so today we want to talk about back pain, the probably we should be getting from Genesis. We might not get into revelation of it today, but the doctor is here to do justice to that. And you know the doctor from the Bank Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Wisdom.
Good morning.
You good?
Very well.
Don't wear same color as me.
The spirit is one.
Most definitely. Anyway, but before that, do you look through your partner's phones?
No.
You don't?
No.
Because you trust them?
Yes.
Shit. All right. Doc has passed the test. Okay, so back pain. Back pain. I want to take it from a personal point of view. I've had back pain for a number of, for a very long time now. Not knowing exactly where it's coming from. You know, like when I sit for long, I stand for long. And some people tell, oh, it's the heels. I mean, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. And so what, if it's the heels, why is that men also face the same thing? So this whole idea of back pain, tell us, why is it that we're worried about fever, malaria, arthritis, and all of that? Then we have to add our back to it. What's the idea? What's the story? Yeah. What causes that?
Yeah. Interesting. And I like the fact that you said that you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I think that for us to understand exactly the causes of back pain and exactly where it's coming from, we have to look at the anatomy of back pain. It's amazing how we tend to squeeze this volume of things just in a short time for our audience.
Well, you're good at it.
Yes. So let's take a sneak peek at the anatomy of the back. So if you look at the spine is, I would say, is a bony framework of the body. Like, it runs through from the head down to, even holding up your pelvis and your legs. Now, the spine, I think there's an image. I'd prefer the image rather than the video now.
Okay.
The image first.
If we can have the image, please.
Yes, the spine runs through from the head, goes down. So it holds the head. That's where the head sits on.
Okay.
And then at every point where as it descends down, the name changes.
Oh.
The name of the spine changes, yeah.
Really?
So the image,
it's not
please.
just bone. Can we have an image, not the video? That will help us. Thank you very much. Great.
Yes.
So there it is.
So at every point as it goes down, it changes. So from the part that holds the head and the neck is called the cervical spine. Oh, right. As that same spine goes down to the part behind the back that holds the chest cavity.
Okay.
Your chest cavity is where you have your heart, your lungs, your blood vessels, major blood vessels. That part of the spine is called the thoracic spine. So I'm sure there's an image like that.
Spine. Okay.
Thoracic spine, right. Now, as it continues down to the part behind the tummy, you see the part behind the tummy.
Okay.
And now the tummy is what holds your abdominal cavity. Okay. You have your kidneys, you have your stomach, you have your liver, intestines. That part of the spine is called the lumbar spine.
So the layman would say that's our waist.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's what holds, the pelvis, so that making up the waist, if you like to call it. Now, as it descends down, the other part that curves like a C, which is like behind the buttocks, right, is called the sacrum and the coccyx. This is what I was looking out for. So you see, the same spine from the top, called the cervical spine or vertebrae, comes down to thoracic, lumbar, sacrum, and so it's just one spine. And it tells you how enormous, the kind of thing that it holds, and holds several organs coming down. So that is why your spine is very important. And the way God has created it, you see, it looks like an S. There's something we call a normal lordosis of the spine and normal kyphosis. So you see where it's bent like a C, it's supposed to be bent that way.
That way.
Where it's bent like a K in front, it's supposed to be bent that way. That's how it's supposed to be. So now anything that happens to distort this normal, anatomy causes back pain.
Right.
Great. So delving deeper, you realize that these are bones. And you look at in between the bones. Now the video can come. In between the bones, we have, like cushions. You see like those blue things over there. They're like cushions. They help the bones.
Can we have the video, please?
Yes, you see, these are cushions. You see, it helps the bones move, or else your bone moving without that cushion can cause a lot of pain. So we'll talk about some causes of back pain where, this cushion is deteriorated. We don't have it anymore.
Like it's dried out.
It's dried out to cause you severe pain, right? So those cushions in between. Now, behind those cushions is a canal called a spinal canal.
Okay.
Now, within this canal is a spinal cord, right? It's a spinal cord. So I wish I could control the video with my eyes, right? It's going ahead of me. It's a spinal cord, right? So that's a spinal cord, great.
Right.
So this spinal cord runs from your brain down to the end of the spine.
Okay.
Now, as it comes down from your brain, it sends out smaller branches, like we can see on our screen now. At every point, sends out smaller branches at every single point to supply, your arms, your chest, your tummy, your legs, even how you control your bladder, how you urinate, and how you use the water. So it gives you control over it.
Wow.
So if there is anything that would impinge on any of these nerves, cause you severe pain. Do you understand? So, so that's how come when you have back pain, we have to analyze to know exactly where is this back pain coming from.
Right.
Where exactly is it coming from? Now, the first things we look at as physicians is we look at the site where you're having the pain. Exactly. You realize that pain is more common in the lower back.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what holds this bony structure together are so many other structures. We have the muscles, we have ligaments, we have tendons. So these structures are soft tissues. Okay. They help the back move. You can bend. Or if you are stuck bones together, there's no way you can bend those bones, right? But
so that's what makes it flexible.
Flexible. You can bend, you can twist, you can turn, you can do so many because of these, structures that hold the bone together.
Nice.
Right. So any injury to any of these structures, the muscles, the nerves, the ligaments, the tendons, can cause pain.
I see. So then it means that first off, we would have to have a thorough examination before we start to buy medications.
Exactly.
Because you see, you're in a car, Nigerians will say boss, and then there's somebody comes, when you buy this, all your back pain will go, So it means we need, like every other thing, to run. Maybe is it a test?
It's an exam. A clinical exam.
Okay. How is that done?
An AI cannot do that for you.
Oh.
An AI cannot
You're preaching
do that.
now. So don't just get on Google like my back aches and take this antibiotics.
Exactly. An AI would not do that for you.
But so I walk to the hospital. I have backache. It hurts. Maybe from here all the way down to my waist area. And so how is the examination done?
Great question. So before we examine, we ask questions, right? Take a good history to understand when did this pain start, right? So first off, we want to find out where exactly is the pain, They want to ask you, when did it start? Did it start sudden or it started gradually, right? There are some pains that start gradually. Before I continue with that, there are two classes of the cause of back pain. We have the mechanical cause and the medical cause.
There is a mechanical
cause and the medical cause. So mechanical cause would be anything related to the bones, the muscles, the tendon, the ligaments, all those structures would be a mechanical cause.
Okay.
And then the medical cause would be medical conditions, underlying conditions, infections and all that can cause back pain. But people are not aware of that, right? So we ask you the site, where exactly is this pain? When did this start? Was it sharp? Were you just then you had a sharp pain, or started gradually? And we want to find out the character of the pain. Is it a sharp pain, or is it a dull pain? Some people just have dull pain. Some people have very sharp pain. We want to ask you how often it comes. Is it mostly in the mornings, or mostly as you get up and you start walking, and throughout the day, then you start having the pain even more, or maybe it gets better as the day goes by, So we have to understand, that. We want to find out, does it move to any other part of your body? There are certain people, they have back pain. It comes to the tummy, it moves to the front. Some people have certain back pain. It moves to the buttocks and then down to the legs. Yes, I'm sure. I'm seeing someone saying, yes, it's true.
Your eyes are open.
I'm seeing someone say, yes, it's true. I've been experiencing it. But yes. Sometimes it moves from your buttocks down, maybe just one side, down to your toes, yes. And then there are certain people that this pain is associated with other things. So we ask you the other factors that comes with the pain. Some people don't have control over their bowel, control over their, bladder. When they want to urinate, it just comes. But this will also having back pain, But if you don't know it, so I said the eye sees what the mind knows. So if you don't know, you'll not be able to tally or marry both together. And other factors that could come along with it. Do you have a fever? Are you vomiting? And all that. So these are associated symptoms that you could have with back pain. And then want to know the character, the severity of the pain. Right. So this pain, on a scale of 1 to 10, a lot of people get asked this question when you come to the hospital, where 10 is the worst pain of your life and 1 is the least. Where would you grade it? So that will give us an idea as to, even if we have to give you medication, what type of medication, because we have to ascend through, WHO has a ladder, we call it a pain ladder. We have to ascend through, down to the top. So this gives us an idea of what kind of pain it is, right? So we go through these motions before we come to examine you. And the examination is quite extensive, and then together with investigations, x-rays, MRI, depending on whatever the person is thinking. Well, we have a spinal camp coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about that towards the end.
We'll talk about that.
So that detailed exam will be done in that spinal camp, that detailed examination. And it's individualized. If you're having neck pain, the exam I'll do for you will be different from someone who's having a waist pain. And the most common pain really is a lower back pain.
Right.
You know, and research has it that 4 out of 5 people in their lifetime would experience lower back pain.
But that's literally everybody.
Everybody. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, 4 out of 5 would experience lower back pain.
I see.
Yes.
So
yes,
how
yes.
long would it take? I mean, because I'm thinking that I come to the hospital, I have back pain, and you have to go through all these examinations. How long, like which one is the longest? How long does it take to find out exactly what's wrong? And then, I mean, I'm in a hurry. I want medication. I want the pain to go.
Yeah. Yes, it shouldn't take that long, really. When we talk about the treatment, maybe not today, you'd realize that it's not all medications, not all back pains that we use medications to treat. For some of them, we use physiotherapy, physical therapy.
Right.
You know, for some of them, we use stretches, exercises, like we've been doing in the morning here, right?
Yes, wake up fitness. If you weren't
Yes.
part of it, you wouldn't be having that problem.
Yeah. For some
Okay.
of them, we do surgeries, you know, and then for some of them, we have to find the underlying cause. I mentioned medical causes, find them and treat them, right? So let me just talk a little bit about
the camp. I
yeah,
know that you're fired up with that, so
no, the causes. I was just to
okay,
highlight
great.
the causes.
How
right?
about we just talk about one, and then we can get
Great,
to yeah.
great. So one common cause of back pain is posture. Your posture, right?
Right.
Sometimes, so we call it muscle sprain. So the way you sit, the way you twist and turn, the way you do rigorous activities can cause a muscle sprain, right? Can cause a muscle sprain. And I mentioned that the muscles hold these bones together. So if the muscle at one point, you know, there's an injury to a muscle at one point, it could pull on these bones, and that could cause pain, you see.
Thinking about it
Could
is already
pull.
painful.
And sometimes some people sit down, you know, wrongly. You're not able, you don't sit down upright. Some people, you know, some people
Yeah.
sit down and then they've twisted, they've bent, you know, relaxing on the chair instead of sitting upright. So that could also cause back pain. And also sitting down for a long time.
How long is too long?
So usually we would say between 30 minutes to 1 hour. Get up for a bit. Get up for a bit, you know, and just walk around and come back and resume.
Really?
30 minutes to 1 hour. So you could
30 minutes
tell
to
yourself,
1 hour?
Yes.
You can't tell that to a lab technician.
But you have to be intentional about it. I mean, you don't have to get up and walk around. You just get up for a bit, stretch for a bit, and
then
sit
you
back.
doctors are also at risk, because I see a lot of doctors
We are
seated,
always
and then
seated.
maybe, what's the name? You have about 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
In Africa, where most of the hospitals, the doctor to patient ratio is so large, and you have lots of people sitting outside. You're just sitting,
Yeah.
you're just doning out medication. You're killing yourself.
That's
it
why-
happens to you guys a
That's
lot,
why we need more doctors in the system.
right?
So the ratio would reduce and we'd have time, you know, for ourselves.
So
But yeah.
ideally, we should be sitting for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour,
Then you get up for a bit.
and you get up
Yes, yes.
and move about a
Yes.
little.
So for me
Come back
personally,
and sit down.
I use an iWatch. So at every interval, it tells me it's time to get up. So I just get up, walk around. So I do that in between patients. So let's say I'm done with one patient, it's leaving, another patient's about to come in, I quickly just get up, stretch, and then it comes in and I sit down.
Let's
back
get
down.
into the stretching. Some people get up and they go all the way. Probably they might do the stretch wrongly to injure the
Yeah.
thing. So when you get up, what exactly do? You just get up and stand?
Yeah, so
Or-
you just get up and just minor, you know, stretches. It doesn't have to be something you know,
Rigorous.
great. Yeah, just to relieve your back of that tension, because you've been seated at a particular position for a while. So there's an amount of tension, especially the lower back, right? So once you get up, you free that tension, and then you go back again. So basically, that's the whole idea.
One of the things I really would love to talk about is sleeping position, but not today.
And lifting heavy objects.
And lifting
People who lift
heavy objects. My God.
It's amazing.
This convo is, we put a pause, like thing on it. Next Thursday, we're going to continue that. We want to delve deep into it. We're dealing with existential issues. We're dealing with things that you do during the day that might
Yeah.
become a problem. You want to be a part of it. You want to contribute. You want to send in messages and ask the doctor all this so that we would, give him the chance to explain all these things to you. So you don't want to miss that session on Thursday. Right, but before we go, the doctor has a spine camp. Like we should be talking spine awareness camp.
Yeah.
Right? So you are going to teach us about spine and that's it?
So basically, you want to screen your spine. There are people who have experienced this back pain for a long time.
Right.
Now, I didn't mention that one of the risk factors, the red flags, we'll talk about it on Thursday, to spine is a prolonged period of back pain. So if you had it more than 6 to 12 weeks, that's a chronic back pain. You need to check it out. You need to check your spine out. There are a lot of people are suffering from this condition. You have no idea.
I see. So when are we having this?
So this from the 20th to 31st, 20th of February to 31st of March. Yes. It's at a very good package where you'd have a consultation with a neurosurgeon, who studies in details the spine. You have that examination I spoke about.
Okay.
And then you would even have, it includes a physiotherapy session after the consultation. So it's a whole package. There's also a scan. You could also do an X-ray, to determine what the cause of your back pain is. So it's a whole package. If you know you have any of the warning signs, you have back pain, difficulty in walking, and all that.
Where is that happening at?
This is happening at the Bank Hospital.
At the Bank Hospital. So we're not going to Kumasi this time around. So we're doing that here in Accra, the Bank Hospital in Accra, right?
Yeah.
And then it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day.
Yeah.
Okay. So from 20th February to 31st March 2025. Great. We should be there. Yeah, right? Yeah. Can we book online or
just walking?
Just walking.
You'll be attended to.
All right. So you heard the good doctor. We're taking good care of you. We're taking good care of your back because, we need you to be healthy, walk healthy, stand healthy, sit healthy. Right. So thank you so much, Doctor. I can't wait for us to talk about the effect of phones and social media and all of that. We saw the effect of social media on marriages. We want to look at that on yourself. That would be a good conversation, right? Okay. So put a pin on it. Thursday, we'll be dealing with all of that. This has been Health Matters with me, Biadola. We're going to go for a break, and then when we get back, Koku will take over.
Sports Break on Dominion TV.
One upgrade is nice, but a double upgrade is amazing. And that's how we do it. Upgrade today to get even more with Step Up. If you're on GOtv Max and upgrade to GOtv Super, you'll get way more with GOtv Super Plus.
It's so cool!
Get big value. Get big entertainment.
Very good.
Perfect! Upgrade and get even more with GOtv.
I'm in.
GOtv. Love it.
It's adventure after adventure after adventure. Get a load of your favorite Bible adventure series, Superbook. So, get on board. Let's join Chris, Joy, and Gizmo. It's Superbook time. Superbook, weekdays at 4:30 p.m. Also on Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. on Dominion TV. Hooray! Dominion TV is now also a digital terrestrial free-to-air channel. This means you can watch us in Ghana from your digital TV without any subscription. Just rescan your channels on your digital TV to access it. How? On your digital TV, press the menu or settings button and choose auto-tuning, auto-search, or the appropriate options to scan your channels and look for Dominion TV. Enjoy some of Africa's best Christian lifestyle programming from Dominion TV.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. This is Wake Up Africa, and for those of you watching us live on TV, you can also join us, connect via our socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and of course on X. Drop your comments there, I'll share with the world. Drop your questions, of course our guests will be ready to answer them as well. Well, as we advertised, we are ready to have a conversation. It's quite broad because of the broad spectrum of issues and conversations that needs to start it, continue it, of course, finish it. Africa indeed has made great strides in this particular regard. We're talking the digital economy of Africa, how the African economy has to be digitized. Not only the economy, but of course, when I say economy, I'm talking education, everything that has to do in that particular spectrum we want to talk about. And so we've gathered some very good brains from everywhere. Mr. Selom Brantier joins us via Zoom. He's strategy director at Empire Degree. Empire Degree is an African technology company. He joins us. Hi, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. Right, okay, we'll try and fix the sound pretty soon. But of course, in the studio, Josiah Ising is innovation strategist and certified in leadership and management entrepreneur. Of course, I hope I got that, or management entrepreneurship. Absolutely. Maybe that, I'm sure that's what was supposed to be there. But thank you very much for your time. Selom, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Absolutely.
I think I was on mute.
Yes, you were on. Thank you very much for your time. And today, the conversation is broad. So what we want to do is to look at, if you like, the digital economic growth itself, the skills gap, cyber threats where you find yourself more, and of course, the infrastructural challenges that we have. And so before the platform on which you are disappoints us, let me throw the very first question and to you, and that's where I want us to start from on a very practical note. When you look at the digital growth in Africa, indeed, it's been championed by quite a number of economies. I mean, Kenya has done so much more in there, and it's leading as far as my checks are concerned. The bigger economies have also seen some penetration, Nigeria, South Africa. But share with me what are some of the promising sectors in this particular, if we talk about digital economy, what are some of the promising sectors in there so that we can start off from there?
Well, you see, so Africa's population, for one thing, is a very great advantage because we are a growing population of mostly people who are below 30. I think about 70% of Africans are below the age of 35, which means that there's a huge digital market.
And the expanding infrastructure means that the likes of, like you said just earlier, the likes of Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria are leading the charge. But you also have countries like Ghana that don't have as large a market as these ones, but also leading innovative areas. But if you want to look at the core areas where you probably begin to see a lot of growth, or where the growth is coming, it's in the areas of financial services and digital inclusion in the financial space. And then we can look at areas for services. So services like agriculture, for instance, in the area of medicine, healthcare service delivery, or healthcare supplies, there's been a huge gap for a long time. And these gaps are being bridged by many innovations in that sector. And then also in areas like road transport and logistics, we are beginning to see some kind of growth in that area. One of the big areas that will grow in the very near future include artificial intelligence, AI, especially for education, especially for health, and for so many other things, and even for governmental functions. So functions where normally the government would have used analog systems or very slow manual systems. You're going to find out very soon that innovations in the African space are going to speed all of that up. And that brings me to something that people think about, that, oh, there isn't much potential in Africa in terms of the digital economy. But you couldn't be much wrong, because some of the biggest innovations today, especially in the financial sector, have come from Africa, like the M-Pesa system that we now call mobile money in our side of the world. These are things that started in East Africa, and these are purely African innovations that have now transformed across the world into systems like Cash App and Zelle and the rest that the whites are using now. But these are things that originated from Africa, because we faced a unique challenge where we didn't have a lot of systems in place. Then because we didn't have a lot of systems in place, when some of these digital media came, what it did was that it helped us create solutions that bridged those gaps. So one of the reasons, for instance, why mobile penetration grew very much in Africa was because of the fact that we didn't have a lot of landlines. So when mobile phones came, they were cheap, affordable, and they were easy to connect without having to have a lot of existing infrastructure. So it worked very well for us. So because of the fact that we don't have a lot of existing infrastructure is so hard to build. When it comes to wireless technology and wireless systems, you would realize very quickly that African systems do very well. So I'll even give you another case in point. Starlink. Starlink didn't anticipate the amount of, demand it will get in Africa.
Right.
So, of course, they had very limited, deployments here. And then very, very quickly, you find that, for example, if you want to register for Starlink in Ghana, you would, in Accra, you wouldn't get the slots for Accra again because they are full. They did not expect that people would sign up so much. So these are the kinds of things that are emerging, that there is demand for digital services in Africa, but it is not the type of demand that is akin to the white man's model or the Western model, where it is mostly venture capital pushed and all of that.
I see.
Here most of the things that we need, I think they are beginning to fit with the traditional African mindset of where you have communal activities or communities working together or communities needing something. Then you would realize that all the approaches towards digitization end up that way.
Okay.
Like our fintech situation, for example. So these are the things that you would realize with the digital economy in Africa.
When I come back to you, I want us to practically state. So, for instance, because most of the economies around on the continent of Africa is agrarian in nature, and so you find them gravitating towards issues of agriculture. I want us to practically look at some of the spaces that people can create things in to be able to get some help in there and get some monies for themselves. And so that leads me now to Josiah. where let's talk about, now that we know the areas, what are the skills in demand? Because the areas are known. I don't know whether everyone knows this, because some of the areas, yes, I do, but not into details as Selom has done. But let's do the skills in demand, so that any young person that's looking forward to entering or venturing into this in the next 5-10 years, what will be the skills in demand now and in the future, if you like?
And thanks for this opportunity. And hi, Selom. And I think the skills, I mean, it ranges. You're looking at technical skills, so whether it is coding or programming, because I tend to separate coding from programming. Right?
Okay, tell me about it.
Coding in itself is just people learning HTML just on the front end, right? But the programming side is the higher language. So you're looking at things like Python language, so then you can use that for data analysis and all of these other things. So people that want to go into the direction of AI would then do Python in that sense. And so those are the kind of skills that, you know, the hard skills that you need. But then people, even at the basic levels, when you look at graphic designers, for example, you need these people to do the front end design. So you look at things like UI, UX design. They need to make things look good on your mobile interface. So that's a skill in itself. And then I think when you think about digital marketing, that's a skill in itself. You know, being able to know how to market things to people. So marketing is a psychological thing. So having that marketing skills is also something that will be in demand along the line. But I think what we've done, and Selom touched on it, is for us, we concentrated too much on the content creation side, right? In terms of people just take a camera, put it down, and they start skits and all of these other things. And I think we're not looking at how we can monetize it from our context, because everything else is uploaded onto Facebook, likes, and then ads, and then you pay. So we're looking at just the basic end of it. We're not looking at how we can even tell African old stories and monetize. So filmmakers can use these platforms to even make more money than before. When you look at old films that we have, you can now digitize old films, put it up on the Netflix or whatever the case may be, then we can make money out of it. So the skills, like you said, is broad. It's not only for mainly technical people, but people with even emotional intelligence, soft skills. Because again, marketing things to people, it's not just, you know, buy and sell. Because you need to think about the psychology of things. And people that analyze data are skills that we need, particularly in the digital economy. And working remote, again, I would like to, you know, keep hampering on the whole emotional intelligence stuff. Working remote requires integrity. It requires, you know, you showing up, telling the people that I'm going to do the work. I am where I say I am. I'm not double working for other people. So those are also skills, because again, if I employ you to work on a project abroad, and then, lack of a better word, you don't do it very well, it speaks negatively about the continent that you come from.
Yes.
So those are also skills that we need to also develop. That time management, you know, skill sets of things. So we should not always look at digital skills, technical skills. We also need to, soft ones are important. And, you know, negotiating skills as well. Because again, if, you know, because what is happening, what we see in the technical world is now people get the skills, they get remote work, and it's making it harder for the local person to even, you know, hire these individuals. And so that's whole technical, I'll say the digital economy that we're pushing has a negative side to it as well, because you have a Ghanaian business that wants to put something online. They cannot afford these developers because the developers are doing remote work. So we need to kind of have a balance when it comes to this space, but I'm sure we can talk more.
Yes, when I come back to Josiah, I would want to also talk about the skills in the, so for instance, he talks about a lot of people now seeing content creation as one of those, let's get into it because it's become popular. So a lot of people are in there, leaving the very hard ones I mentioned, and so the Pythons and all of that, it can only be taught in a formalized setting, whereas these ones, it's just about putting a camera there and doing that. And that's what I find, that Africa likes to run towards these, you know, very easy things, where the technical ones are left for some of the few ones. So we'll come back to that, talk about how the policies that are in place and how Africa is doing. But let me come back to you, Selom. So I wanted to know, let's look at agriculture like this. What are the areas of interest that people can pick? And because it's large and we need technology to get in there. Share with us.
Yeah, we are used, like you said, to the lowest hanging fruits. For example, um, get up and dance on in front of a light and a camera, and so you'd realize that if you look at a space like TikTok, for instance, it's a space where you would see. If you look at African TikTok or Ghanaian TikTok, it's really a lot of meaningless stuff, and most of it does not have a what do you call it, positive contribution
Yes.
to any kind of digital economic activity. So I believe that in the area of agriculture, for instance, there are so many things. You know, there are a lot of farming training practices, for example, that people can digitize and monetize. There are so many, you see, because now we have so many different media, because you see, a digital economy would need to ride on certain kinds of media:
Okay.
voice, video, video on demand, paid subscriptions, for example, and things like that. And I have realized that most of us now, because of how easy and cheap and accessible data is, we tend to use things like videos a lot, and we tend to shape our mindset and our understanding of events from a lot of these videos made by content creators and all of that. In the area of agriculture, for instance, getting people like that would be very, very important, because they would be able to provide a very great amount of context education and support to so many people, especially in rural areas, for example. And even beyond that, very simple systems and services. For example, or in my work with MPedigree, for example, we have an anti-counterfeiting service where we help farmers check whether they are buying fake or original seeds.
Okay.
It is mostly used in East Africa, in Kenya, Malawi, in Tanzania, and Uganda. They are government-supported programs where we have stickers on seeds that people are able to text in. They get to know the type of seed. They can text in and ask for advice on what time to plant. They can complain about whether the seed did grew well or not, things like that. And these are very, very simple things. And if you expand them, there are ways in which farmers can even get to know about the weather conditions. There are people who are doing very simple things like creating, what do you call it, indicators to check whether the soil is good or not. And then farmers can just send maybe very simple information via their phones to check whether they should get fertilizer and things like that. Or even for things like, what do you call it, farming schemes, where maybe if you don't have enough money, people can pool together money, and then you will be able to get seed funding to plant your farm, to plant on your farms, and then even get advisory on, or let's say if you think there's a crop failure or there are diseases on your farm, you can take pictures of it, whether it's your animal, your livestock, whatever, and then people can then look at it. So there are there are so many things. What we need, so there's a huge skills gap here. What we need are people with the soft skills, that is those who can see in their mind that this is a problem, or this is an area where if we put bits A, bits B, and bits C together, we can develop a solution, and that solution can fly. And then we need those with the hard skills, the programmers and the coders, so that they can also, what do you call it, go beyond just the ideas and build products out of them. We are in a huge need of these people, because these people will actually be the ones that will shape the economic nature of our future and make us more self-dependent, or what do you call it? Wean us from what do you call it? Aid and having to ask for all of those things. And the digital economy is one of the best places to do it, because it's a platform where you can speak to almost everybody at the same time, or you can spread your word as fast as possible. So I believe that we are underutilizing it and only using the digital economy for only entertainment and music. We now need to begin to look at it as something that can help educate us and move us into financial independence. And that is where I believe a lot of us as young Africans, need to begin to start steering people towards.
I see. Before I come to Josiah, I just want to stay with you quickly and pick some 2 minutes thoughts, right? So Kenya is a little about 15 million people, right? And so if I mention Nigeria and South Africa, that scares us because then the numbers are overwhelming. So let's just do a quick comparison between Ghana and Kenya. Now they are leading clearly. Look, the former vice president of the United States of America, Kamala, when she came here, was mentioning Kenya as though she was here on the Kenyan land, meanwhile she was here in Ghana. What have they done for which young people are in that bracket of leading major technological advancement, development on the continent? And for us, we still are lagging behind. I could tell that a lot more. I'm not saying we are not doing it, but as compared to Kenya, what have they done really?
I think it's a matter of culture because, trust me, if you ask me, 30 years ago, Ghana was probably leading Kenya in terms of digital solutions, IT services, etc. In fact, for a long time, Ghana was a pioneer, even ahead of countries like Nigeria, etc. Having worked a lot in Kenya within the last 15 years, because Mpedigree also has operations there. We've been working there for about 15 years now, about 13 years now. I have noticed one thing. They have worked on building a culture that stimulates the discussions on innovation. And then they have also worked on building a culture that actually supports young innovators and actively markets them. And they've made their ecosystem or their IT ecosystem one which welcomes a lot of ideas and allows those ideas to be pushed without barriers. Unfortunately, in our case, I think that there have been leadership gaps where, excuse me to say, our leaders have been greedy and have stifled some of that efforts towards entrepreneurial growth. Some of us have been victims of that. Some of us have seen it. And it is because it is usually like favorites are picked out and then they are pushed to the detriment of everybody
else. Share practical examples. Don't mention names of whoever victimized you, but share of how something was stolen from you before I come to Josiah. Maybe it could resonate with a young person watching. Selo, help us.
No, okay, so you see, Josiah has 1,000 examples of that.
Oh, I see.
Do.
Okay.
These are things we don't normally like to say much about, but you could say something like, you would have a brilliant idea,
right?
You write it down, you propose it to, let's say, some sector ministry to help support it. They tell you to go and come, or they tell you that you have to get some financiers or bring some aid program along with it, else they would not do it. And this has been some of our frustrations. So some of us, I was having this debate with Josiah just a couple of weeks ago about the fact that Trump cutting off aid is now going to make us look at our homegrown solutions more and pay attention to them. And he was also saying that there's also a contrast where people who depend on some of these grants are going to suffer. So we are stuck between a rock and a hard place, because unfortunately, because of some of this aid, we were having people who were too lazy to push forward African implementations or local implementations, because after all, somebody will come and give us the money, so why should we bother with you? And that's some of the thing that has happened to us. And in Kenya, for example, they are more open to trying out and testing technology and encouraging people to come in and bring ideas and solutions. And that is why they have built such a vibrant ecosystem. You see, it is like it's like church.
I see.
The more people you invite into the church, the bigger the church, the more vibrant the church becomes.
Indeed.
But when people come to the church and you turn them away, you would have a smaller church, and then the church starts inbreeding. I don't know whether you understand what I mean.
I do.
You know, it atrophies, and then everybody knows everybody, and then there's nothing new in the church, or the church doesn't progress as much as we want. So that's the best analogy I can create. We haven't been as open as we should. We haven't evangelized the need for new technology, or the need for new ideas, or the need for ideas that help us as much as we should have, because there are so many creative Ghanaian young people who should have been multimillionaires, whose solutions should have been all across Africa. But unfortunately, we haven't even let them grow, even in our own land, for them to even move out there. And that has been the problem that we have been facing. And Josiah will even tell you more about
it was coming there. There was this time I had a friend of a friend who says, look, there was this particular pharmaceutical app or pharmacy app that he had gone to propose to a top, close to a certain vice president of a country. Before you know, the next moment, they have launched it as theirs. And so when Selom didn't want to go there, I realized it. But tell me about it, your experience.
Okay, see, so here's the thing.
Right.
And what I'm about to say sounds a little bit controversial, and I don't need to be.
Yeah.
I think what we need to look at everything in context, right? West Africa, East Africa. In East Africa, the colonization masters never left. They just changed a different format, right? Because a lot of the development that we see in Kenya, the South Africa, all of these, Rwanda and all of these other nations, right, is because the white people are behind it, right? And then they fund these systems, because when you go to Kenya, Microsoft, Ford Foundation, all of them, they're still there, right?
Yeah.
They funding all of these young innovations and whatever you see, because most of the tech things that you see over there works and suits them more so than anything else. So let's not make it look like West Africa is where it is because for some reason we are not innovative. It's a system at play.
But is it a good thing for them to still stay and support those people?
It's good for them, but it's bad when we compare ourselves to them in a negative. Because when you look at West Africa, a lot of the, even look at the music industry, right? The reason why Afrobeats is flying off is because of West Africa, right? People are looking at Africa and innovations now in the creative space is because of West Africa. The problem that we have is we kind of like to cliquey things. So it's just me and my clique. When we have an innovation, just me and my friends, and then benefit from it. We're not thinking on a larger scale. And that is, for me, that's the problem. Because, again, when you look at the Nigerian situation, you have Nigerian, innovative founding members who, when they get investment, they then also fund other startups in their ecosystem, right? So I might be working on, let's say, fintech, for example. When I get the money, I will fund another person that's doing logistics because that value chain helps me, right? But in Ghana, we tend to try to just me and my boys, and that is the problem. But then if you go down, dig deep, you will realize that a lot of those nice innovations that you see either in East Africa, most of the guys here are behind it. Most of our top guys here are the ones working with Kenyan startups to then help them in, but because this money is there. So we fly over there, work over there, bring funds and everything to the startups over there. We don't do it here. Most Ghanaians, we like to do everything low. So they will go outside, make money, come home and be quiet. See, so let's not make this narrative as East Africa being this great space, because
but I mean they're moving. If you look at
they're moving because
right?
they're moving because somebody is behind it. In West Africa, we want to lead, and usually it doesn't suit the narrative of the colonization masters when you want to lead.
Okay, so Josiah, let's gravitate towards the answer. So let's say you say even those people behind the guys in East Africa might have their own interest.
Right.
What would you want to be the solution here? You said, let's move beyond the cliquey things and do more.
Right.
What else?
So then, I like that question. I think what I want here is we need to integrate more with innovation hubs, right? Right now in Ghana, we have over 120 innovation hubs who are doing amazing things. Those from ideation to incubation, all the way down to accelerating, code, teaching people how to code, program, and all of those other things. And I think this is where the government needs to put its energy into. These hubs that already exist that are working with people. When we talk about gender, particularly when women in tech, women in tech blew up the way it blew up is because of hubs.
Yes.
When you have the likes of iSpace, InnoHub, Hopping Academy, and all of these other hubs.
One in the Volta, Node 8.
Node 8, right. All of these guys have laid the foundation for the work to be done. And I think what government needs to do is just put that effort into the hubs that are already doing this work. But in Ghana, we like to always engineer new things. We don't invest in old infrastructure and then build on them and then strengthen them instead. And that is where I think we're going wrong. Because now that we have a new administration, they want to do 1 million coders.
Yeah.
For me, it's a great idea, but we should use the hubs to then channel that, because the hubs already know who these graphic designers are, who these coders are, because we've already trained them. We know their skills level, so we can then help you bring it to the next level. Someone like Selim is, I would like of a better word, is a godfather in the ecosystem.
Yes.
He should be part of the people that should be advising government on what to do with this 1 million coders thing. But because we are so hell-bent on my idea, me and my boys, is the reason why we're lagging behind when it comes to this whole innovation space. But from an individual level, a lot of the West Africans are behind the innovations that you see in the West and Southern belt of Africa. But we can't seem to kind of get it here. So for me, I think we need to have the conversations of how do we do this, work through the hubs, work through the institutions that are already doing this in the private sector. They understand the ecosystem. They understand what needs to be done. They understand what the skills are, what skills are needed, literally, right? And yeah, so for me, I think that's one of the best ways.
I mean, these are very brilliant, and I'm not sure now. Okay, I don't want to go there. Selim might be in trouble. Let's do the issues of the infrastructure on which all of these things will stand. Issue of internet connectivity and data and all of that, no matter how expensive or less expensive it is. Selim, there are committees that are being formed to look into issues of how to reduce data and all of that. Let's talk about infrastructure here in Ghana. Let's come back to Ghana. What would we need, apart from dealing with the hubs, what else must we be doing so that it does not fall flat if we even start with the hubs and all the others?
So you see, I think that a lot of these things about data and the rest, they are basically pure economics and matters of, let's say, corporate structure or who you prefer or who you don't prefer. And already in Ghana's data is one of the cheapest in Africa, which is a good thing, which also means that there's a lot of access. I think very recently there was even some statistic that suggested that Ghanaians actually use more mobile data than most people in Africa. And it is a very great thing, which tells you that there's a big market, and which also tells you that infrastructure really isn't the problem. And I think that when we talk about discussions about infrastructure, we always forget that people are also part of that infrastructure.
Yeah, I was good. Right.
When I talk about people here, I'm talking about those who feed into the system and those who consume from the system. We have the consumers. I think that has been very clearly established. If you look at the amount of time people spend on the internet, consuming video, music, etc., Ghanaian youth are probably number one in Africa, as the statistics have shown. What really needs to happen, and this is what Josiah said is actually very true, that we need to, what are the channels that we are using to create or build the content or build the things that people will consume on? So I'll draw an analogy to food. Right now, when we were young, I'm sure you were born in the 80s, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay. If you were born in the 80s, I don't know where you lived, but when we were very young in the 80s, rice wasn't a common meal. You ate rice.
Christmas, Easter.
Yeah, festive occasions. You get normal boiled rice once in a while, but as for jollof rice, it was only Christmas. Or very special occasions where you did well in school. Now, everybody can buy jollof every day. But who is cooking the jollof?
Okay.
Are you getting the jollof from people very far away, or are the local people cooking the jollof? So if you are getting jollof from very far away, they are adding ingredients that probably do not, have much relevance in this space or do not grow the space. So if we had local people cooking the jollof, those local people would know and understand ourselves better. And therefore we can self-improve. I think church people call it what? Iron sharpeneth iron.
Indeed.
Sort of.
Yes, that's
so
what
we
do.
need. Yes, what we haven't had It's a scenario where we can constantly improve on the content we create. So, for example, imagine having science lessons being taught in Tree, all right?
Mm-hmm.
It is something that would really grow education. But the first time somebody worked on that and still working on that, a guy called Paul Azunre, he was a brilliant science and maths guy.
Yes.
Who went to, I think, MIT or something, did his PhD there.
Yes.
When he started doing his AI in Tree, people were laughing at him. But now he's built it such that now it auto-translates TV programs into Tree. And for many narrow-minded people, they'll go like, hey, now we say a day in and they said telenovela not there. Now movies But when you flip the script and you think about it, that there are so many educational videos, for example, that can teach something like Pythagoras theorem to a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old using Tree. You can take that content and then you can even sell it, even just to or organizations can buy some of that content and distribute for free to schools. And then by buying that content, then they build the capacity for people like the Paul Azunres of this world to actually build more AI in Tree and then help even preserve our local languages, which is even one other thing altogether. So, and the thing, there's one thing that Josiah said, the hubs actually have done a lot of the work over the years. And I believe that what we need to do is to link infrastructure to the hubs.
Okay.
Let's give the hubs a lot more infrastructure because they are like the cooking houses for those who want to create the new jollof that we want.
Okay.
They really have a base of all and they know, even more than the ministries these days, they know where the skills are needed. They know, they have built the skills, they understand the demand because they work hand on hand with people on the ground. So ours is not basically an infrastructure problem. We can afford data now because one, gigabyte of data these days is less than a plate of wache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one gigabyte of data is probably what, 10 cedis or 15 cedis, which most people who use
depending on when you are using it. So 4 cedis,
exactly.
50 pesos somewhere on a network for a day, but it doesn't last for a day, depending on how you use it.
Exactly. But then usually you see, if you look at the quantum of data that's consumed within that time period and the fact that people recurringly use that, then you realize that what we have is a whole set of consumers needing a whole set of creative content. So what we have in terms of infrastructure, I wouldn't say it's 100%, but we are 60-70% there.
Okay.
Which, if with additional investment into the space, we can actually build it to the optimal level that we want.
Okay.
We have access to data and internet as much as anybody else in the Western world. What we do not have are the innovative systems that can help people make more money. And that is where we need to get to, because the digital economy could be the biggest contributor to our GDP in Africa within the next few years.
Okay.
And so many people are ready to jump on that bandwagon that it will be a failure for our generation if we are not able to connect that demand with the right, tools that will let them get to where they have to.
Absolutely.
And we cannot do that without listening and without innovating.
I see. It's quite broad. We'll have to do a part 2 of this. Final words before you go, Josiah.
I think for me, the final words will be that any young African that wants to engage in that digital space, just think about an idea, a problem that's already there, and then the skills that you need to solve it so quickly. Connecting on the value chain. So again, I can be involved in agriculture without having to own a farm, right? If I'm good at taking photography, I could take pictures, load it up onto the internet, use Shopify, for example, create an e-commerce website and say that I'm selling produce, right? Yes. People order, I order from the farmer, I deliver it to them. I'm in business.
Indeed.
Like literally, that's how easy it is. So don't think you need to own a farm to be part of the agriculture system, or you need to know how to grow tomatoes to do anything or ride a bike. You just need to connect the dots. Find a problem and then identify the skills that you need in order for you to solve that problem. Literally, that's all you need to do.
So what we'll do the next one, if we have to make time again, the two of you and probably someone from the hubs, that will teach us these practical things so that anybody who is watching will begin to turn their attention to practical ways of joining or being part of the value chain, even as we get in there. Thank you very much, guys. It's been wonderful. Just as I said, let's do this again. Mr. Selon Brantier is Strategy Director for MPE degree, and also Josiah A. Singh is Innovation Strategist, and of course, certified in Leadership and Management Entrepreneurship. We're grateful. Thank you very much. Of course, Selon, thank you. I'm sure you enjoyed it. There should surely be a part 2 of this, but we'll take a break at this point. We'll come back. Biadela will join us, and so we wrap up. Stay with us.
Heels play.
Well, grateful to God that we have ended the show. It's day 2 of the week. So Tuesday's been a wonderful time. I enjoyed myself. I'm sure you learned something as well. Quite a number of things we have for you. We promised big things. We're delivering, aren't we?
To keep you updated on everything, especially the African dream. We're going somewhere. Come along with us, right? All right, so it's been a good day.
Yes, we're back tomorrow.
Yeah, we're back tomorrow. Oh, I am a blind. You're Koku.
Yes, Koku.
So tomorrow is your day.
Yes.
Today's our day. Go ahead and have a thundering Tuesday with you. Yeah. Okay, my name is Biatala.
My name is Kokulu. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.